Well, we could talk about underwater rugby, but let's talk song. Brian Wilson passed away, one of the greatest minds in pop music history. Rest in peace. This is not a reaction video, this is an analysis, because I don't have to react to the Beach Boys any longer, because I already know the songs. I've never really analyzed one of their songs, and I'm going to do that today. I'm going to look at Good Vibrations, and I'm going to find out why Brian Wilson was really one of the greatest songwriters of all time. So without further ado, let's get going.
I love the colorful clothes she wears.
Alright, step one, find key. Bum, 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 I think is the root note. E flat, really?
I love the colorful.
Apparently, yes. Also, interesting observation, no intro at all, so very 2025 that they would directly start singing. Let's find the chord progression next.
She wears, and the way the sunlight plays upon her head.
Okay, what we have here is a 6 minor 5-4-3 cadence, the so-called Spanish or Andalusian cadence, where in terms of chords, chord names, we have E flat minor that goes to D flat major to, actually we would have to say C flat major here, and this goes to B flat major, okay? Creating this really beautiful Spanishy feel. I believe that this is also going to be interesting for the melody, because usually the Spanish cadence plays with harmonic minor and creates beautiful intervals and stuff. Let's find out what the melody does. Bow. Starting on the root, makes sense.
I love the colorful clothes she wears.
Okay, so we start actually with an E flat minor arpeggio, forming this triad, and then we go. So a melody that first goes up and then goes down.
And the way the sunlight plays upon her head.
Ba ba ba. Okay, so we've got a lot of embellishments, a lot of lines up, lines down that also fit this harmonic minor guitar-y thing. Lyrics. I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. What beautiful sense for stressed and unstressed syllables. Really cool start also with this I and then leaving space, right? I love the colorful clothes she wears. I think that using colorful and clothes, this C alliteration was on purpose, and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. So this guy really knew how to write songs and lyrics.
I hear the sound of a gentle wind.
Okay, directly continuing with a variation of the melody, okay? So the idea of this I, very long I at the beginning, is still there, but they change the melody movement. They just start singing higher. On the 5th of the E flat minor chord.
I hear the sound of a gentle wind.
Almost as if this line was the harmonization of the first line of the song, okay? So doing everything just a 3rd or a 5th up.
On the wind that lifts her perfume through the air.
Is it perfume or is it perfume? I don't really know. I want to say perfume, which would make this an unstressed or misstressed word, but never mind. let's look at rhyming pattern for a second. I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair could rhyme. And then we've got, I hear the sound of a gentle word on the wind that lifts her perfume through the air. So we could argue that it's a very, very weird AAXA rhyming pattern. I don't know if this is going to continue like this.
I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations.
Okay, so we move to the relative major, which is G flat. We just have this as a pedal note and chord all the time. The new melody is...
I'm picking up good vibrations.
Is that a melody though? Ba-da-do-ba-bum. Or is that not something that a bass would do? Which makes sense because later they harmonize this vocally, and this I'm picking up good vibrations is going to become something like the bass line.
I'm picking up good vibrations.
And there is actually a bass, an upright bass playing this. I see what's happening. I don't see what's happening. So it's something like a blues scale, but I'm not fully grasping it.
I'm picking up good vibrations.
Good vibration. Okay, so I don't even know what type of scale this is. Quite interesting that they would have this flat 7, okay, making this a little bit bluesy. Then so this is probably Mixolydian, okay, because it has got that regular 4. It also has got the flat 7, and we don't hear the major 3, but we assume it's there. So I would say Mixolydian bass line. Okay, and of course now we've got this harmony, Beach Boys signature harmony in the back with this ooh up, good vibrations. Right? This time actually highlighting the major 3, so we are in fact in a Mixolydian scale. And I think what they do here is they just take everything and put it up a whole step, okay? So I think that they do... Yes, they do that, okay? So they put everything up. We were in the key of G-flat Mixolydian, or basically in the scale of G-flat Mixolydian, and now we move it up to A-flat Mixolydian, okay? Creating this lifting effect. Whoa, where are we now? And they do the same thing, another whole step up, okay? So we went from G-flat to A-flat, and now we are in B-flat, and do the same thing all over again. So now suddenly we play this B-flat Mixolydian bass line. Keep misplaying. What a cool exercise in, let's say, modulation. And now we go back to the Spanish cadence in E-flat minor. How did they transition though? Makes perfect sense, because the B-flat Mixolydian scale is actually the dominant scale to the E-flat minor thing, okay? Creating this cool secondary dominant effect where suddenly we go back to where we started. Really, really cool. What does the melody do in order to transition?
close my eyes.
Close my eyes. Okay, so this is basically a prolongation of that I idea. Okay, so we had I, and now it's close my eyes. And I think the melodic motif is going to be the same.
She's somehow closer now.
Yes. Enter this varied melody, okay?
In her eyes, she goes with me to a blossom room.
Interesting. Did they do that before the first chorus as well? On the wind that lifts her perfume through the air was the end of the verse number 1.
On the wind that lifts her perfume through the air.
And they began the build-up later. What they do at the end of verse 2 is they totally shorten the line. They say, she goes with me. She goes with me to a blossom world. And we all expect this do-do-do-do. That doesn't come.
She goes with me to a blossom world.
Right? Really lifting the suspense even more, because we don't know what's going on. We hear this dominant chord that is playing in the harmonies, but no melody to transition.
I'm picking up good vibrations. I'm picking up good.
Sorry, I moved too early. Okay, really, really beautiful harmonies. Okay, and we stay on this B flat idea, and we had a very, very strange excitation word cut. Right, even the tempo gets literally slowed down.
I don't know where, but she sends me there.
Really cool that they would find 1,000 Asian rhymes, right? With good vibrations, with excitations, with elation, with sensations, so they really take it to a ridiculous level. This is clearly bridge, in that it is something totally different, in that it also recycles motifs and ideas from before, but in a new dress, right? So it starts like this. Really cool. Okay.
I don't know where, but she sends me there.
Clearly totally new melodic idea. Don't know where, but she sends me there. Super simple, right? A 3-note melody. And always with this up and down thing, almost like a wave motion, something that seems to play an important role in the life and music of the Beach Boys.
I don't know where, but she sends me there.
Was there a new chord?
I don't know where, but she sends me there.
So we actually moved to E flat major for the first time, okay? So I don't know if that means that we are still in this B flat Mixolydian feel, where of course the E flat major also makes sense, is kind of the relative Ionian scale, or if we have in fact moved to the... No, we couldn't have moved to the Ionian scale because we still have got this flat 7 in the melody, right? Means that we are still in this Mixolydian realm where suddenly the E flat major makes a lot of sense. What? What is this? So suddenly I heard an F, I heard a G. So, for no good reason at all. Oh yes, there is a good reason. Is there? No, there is not a good reason. From B flat Mixolydian we suddenly go to F, which is crazy. How do they do that transition? And suddenly we have a jazz cadence with this. Here we establish the key, no transition at all. Okay, we go directly from B flat Mixolydian to, okay, not really a pleasant resolution, but something that they just do, and then they do. Gotta keep those bum. What is it?
Gotta keep those loving good vibrations are happening with her.
And now they build this, right? So this is still part of a lengthy, crazy bridge that they've established there with a totally different key, totally different harmonic and melodic idea. Right? Now, outlining the F major scale perfectly, and of course, stacking that harmonies on top of each other.
Gotta keep those loving vibrations.
It's actually, gotta keep those loving good vibrations are happening with her. And now they introduce an F7 chord. I think, I don't know. Where do they go? Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because they now play an F7 instead of an F major 7, what that we would expect in the Ionian scale. They play the F7 chord in order to create a dominant function to the thing that we already know, B flat, dominant function. Okay, and now they go down. Right, wait. Okay, remember that we had this movement up from G flat to A flat to B flat. Apparently they do that backwards now. What a cool idea! That's brilliant, okay? Just like, we build the suspense, and with the same tools, we build the suspense back by moving whole steps down. What a brilliant idea. So unconventional in terms of functional Western harmony, but it makes a lot of sense. Is it maybe because this is what they say about surf bands in general, that they start moving around chords on the guitar, and when playing a major chord and just playing it a whole step down, it makes sense that everything seems to kind of calm down. So maybe this was the origin of the idea. And because they didn't have enough hooks, they need to introduce a new one. What a brilliant melody development. Okay, just basically the whole scale. And back up. And back down. This is just perfect music. I'm getting the good vibrations from the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson. Brilliant, brilliant song. And I'm sure we can take away valuable songwriting learnings and find out a bit why Brian Wilson was one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Songwriting learning number 1 is about a go-to chord progression that they don't use very often anymore, which is the Spanish cadence. This 6 minor 5 4 3 thing with that beautiful dominant chord at the end, taking us back to the 6 minor chord. This was, of course, the chord progression that we heard in the verse. Sorry. 3 major, of course. This is a very, very useful chord progression that is kind of bittersweet, right? And evokes this, I don't know, nostalgic feeling. So this is something that you can definitely apply to your own songwriting, because guess what? Chord progressions are not copyrightable, which is why you can use them as you please. Songwriting learning number 2 is a lyric writing tip. Apparently it's a very good idea to have something like vibration as the hook line in your song, because there are a lot of rhyme words like excitation and elation and vacation. Was there vacation? Or did they forget about the vacation? Yes, they did take a vacation. Why didn't they? They should have taken a vacation. Right? So they definitely had more options. It's a very, very rhymable word, right? And this actually makes sense to consider when picking song titles and, of course, lines for your chorus, for your verse stuff. Find lines that have easy rhymes. Songwriting learning number 3 is about this crazy function that a bridge can have. Sometimes the bridge does everything totally different, as in that case. It changes melody, it changes lyrics, but not only that, it also changes the whole tonality. And we move to the F major, F Ionian scale. The brilliant thing about the bridge, though, is they bring it back to that other idea, to that B flat Mixolydian thing, by saying, well, we are in the key of F, and how do we go back to B flat? Well, that's easy, by introducing that dominant flat 7 and then taking it back to B flat. So whatever you do with your bridge, make sure to find a good way out, which is what they did brilliantly by introducing that dominant F that takes us back to the idea that we already know. And this was my on-the-fly analysis of the great Beach Boys' Good Vibrations. Now, if you liked this video, please give me the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Let's Talk Song channel if you haven't done yet. Thank you for 3,000 subscriptions. That really means the world to me. Please also leave friendly comments. By the way, you can also get a premium channel membership now. That costs a little bit, but you get a lot. Please also take a look at the almost but not quite complete guide to songwriting available at spectreacademy.net if you want to take your own songwriting to the next level. I guess we've talked song, you can talk about underwater rugby now. Bye bye!